Good afternoon, everyone. Next Generation Weather Forecaster Joe Shaka here from Storm Chaser JS, doing a tropical update here. There's some things to look at in the tropics. It's not completely dead, but it is certainly quieter than normal for this time of year. So starting off as usual with the MJO. I usually keep these tropical updates. I like to cover the same material because that's usually I like to look at the background state rather than what the models are doing. But anyway, here's the European model of the MJO. You can see here we're not going to really get into the favorable phases here, and we're going to be really out of the favorable phases, which is phases 4 and 5. But we may get briefly into phases 2 and 3 over the next week or so, and that may have some development. And that's what we'll be looking at in this video. So there's the European MJO. Here's the Japanese MJO, which brings it severely into phase 2 and phase 3 over the remaining week or so, week and a half of August, and that would favor more probability of tropical development. But regardless, the models do see development off the East Coast, and we'll look at the guidance for that, and you can see phase 2 and 3 right here off the East Coast favoring tropical development. Meanwhile, phase 4 and 5 is pretty much dead in the Atlantic Basin, and that's where the European and the MJO does take this, and there's the MJO getting into 4 or 5 by the end of the month, which is pretty much a shutdown for us again here in the Atlantic. Now, the Japanese, this really flipped around from last week. I did not put on last week's run. I definitely put it out though on other media platforms, but not in a YouTube video. I guess I'll stay with purple. The sinking motion is back. This was all upward motion last Thursday, all through here. This really reversed. All of these weeks really reversed quite substantially. And so, again, with this upward motion here, this begins Saturday. Even though there will be development off the East Coast, the heart of the tropics is pretty much shut down. You can see some attempt at some energy and some rain off the west coast of Africa. There's going to be a system that likely curves up and northward over the next few days, week or so, as that develops. You can see the enhancement here off the southeast coast with that feature that will head out. Here's the upper level pattern. Still baggy heights in the MDR with the ridge up here, but not really favorable for development in the MDR. Week 2 looks like this, same kind of thing. A lot of sinking here, some enhanced precipitation here. Yeah, a little bit enhanced there off the East Coast. Week 3 and 4, maybe it tries to come back again. I don't want to get fooled again saying this is going to get going, but maybe some more upward motion. Then here's the precipitation week 3, week 4, mid and late September. And there's that ridge over the troubled water with waves coming across, moving westward. Now, the feature that's going to develop off the southeast coast, the North Carolina coast, later this weekend and early next week will be around here. And then that'll take off well south and east, so no impacts to land. You can see the European wind gust swath with this feature here that we're looking at. Again, 40, 50 mile an hour wind gusts with there. It's going to be a tropical storm. Here is the precipitation swath. Let me see if I have white here. Okay, I'll use white. Here you can see the precipitation swath nicely showing up there on the European operational. Now, looking at the 500 millibar pattern here, it's very interesting to note, and I will use purple. What's this, black? That's dark blue, it looks like. I'll use purple. So basically, this is the 0Z run of the European 500 millibar pattern for Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. You can see the big ridge here over northeast Canada. You have this trough coming through here. I'll use white here. You can see that trough coming down into the plains, and you have that ridge extension here up over the northeastern part of the United States. That's next Tuesday evening into Wednesday, and the feature somewhere out in through here. So that is the 0Z run of the European ensemble with the 500 millibar pattern. Here is at 6Z, and not too much different, I guess. I try to go back and forth with these a few times, and there's not much difference. You can still see the ridging up here in Canada, somewhat of a ridge in through here, the trough coming down into the plains right through here, and then the tropical feature itself likely being somewhere in this area here that is being circled in purple. But this is no way going to come up to New England again. How would we get this up to New England is that this trough that you have the white X over here, that trough would have to be down here over the Tennessee Valley to be able to pull whatever this thing may be upward. Instead, it's going to get rejected northeast. You can see also out here, there's lower heights out here, so that leaves an escape route out to sea by the end of next week. Here's the 500 millibar wind pattern. You can see there's that nice trough digging through right in through here. So again, that westerly wind will pick up a system, whatever this may be. I think it could certainly become a high-end tropical storm, if not low-end hurricane. So system somewhere around there. You can see the wind stream arrows pointing out to sea. So it will come up. It's coming up out of the Bahamas. It will come up and then take a track on out. And that shows up nicely there in the ensemble precipitation from the 0Z runner, the European. You can see that enhancement right in through there. And then the spaghetti plots, which I love a lot. Let me switch over my color here. And again, that's exactly what I've been showing you here. That you can see many of the members, if not all of them, that do develop this, have this heading well out to sea, away from any land. So that is a very good forecast, and the model has been consistent with that happening over the last several runs, so I don't see any reason not to believe that. And then here's the action going off Africa with that wave that will come off and then turn northward and head up and then quickly dissipate after that, instead of coming off to the west and maybe developing on through here. That will just turn north, and that will be that. And then you can see pretty much shut down and through here over the next 10 to 15 days. And again, the main action will be off the east coast. That will head out to sea. Now the upward motion pattern from the European, this is very similar to what we saw from the JMA, just a different format, but the same deal. You can see positive motion here over Africa, sinking in the Atlantic. That is the 22nd to the 27th. The 27th to the 1st. Sinking motion here, upward motion over Africa. But there are going to be some vigorous waves that come across. Whether or not they develop in this, I'm not sure. Maybe they could develop further west and north, closer to the U.S. We will see about that. Then the 1st to the 6th, you can see upward motion here, sinking motion here. Again, a complete shutdown, most likely, of the majority of the peak of the hurricane season. But we'll see what happens. After that, maybe things will turn around mid and late month. But overall, a quiet tropical period ahead, with the main feature being off the East Coast this weekend into early next week. That is it for now, and thank you for watching.